One of the greatest crossovers that people in the strategy genre have been craving for is Paradox Grand Strategy campaigns with the real-time strategy battles of Total War. It's the idea of deep political and strategic mechanics while also having battles that are more than just two numbers colliding in a dice roll spreadsheet with fancy UI. Well, what if I told you that we were one step closer to seeing that mashup become a reality? There's only one big difference. Instead of Paradox and Total War, it's Paradox and Tailworlds. That's right, a modder who goes by the mysterious name of George has tirelessly worked to create a mod that combines Crusader Kings 3 with Mountain Blade Bannerlord. While still in its early infancy, this mod has some serious amazing implications for Crusader Kings 3. I also know that this system, wonky as it might be, can work effectively, because it's already happened in another game a couple of years back, as we'll discuss in this video. So let's dive into what little we know about Crusader Blade, the mod that is bringing Crusader Kings 3 battles into the real-time battles of Bannerlord. Alright, so I won't dangle any fruit in front of your face, and I will do my best not to repeat myself, because in all honesty, there isn't that much information about the mod currently. What we do know is that Crusader Blade will indeed combine Bannerlord and CK3, where the battles you fight in Crusader Kings can literally be ported over to Bannerlord for you to fight out in person. This means that yes, you will need to own both games and have them both installed. Not only will regular land battles be simulated in this mod, but there are plans to include sieges, tournaments, and even duels at some point in the future. In ways, I'm more excited about this part, as it could mean a big shakeup in how events and wars evolve in CK3, as martial skill in tournaments and duels won't really have an effect on the outcome of events like duels and brawls. It'll be up to the player's skill in fighting within Bannerlord. And with regards to sieges, it will give an incentive to the player to push an assault, although I do wonder how siege equipment will work in the crossover from CK3 to Bannerlord. Regardless, sieges are a blast in Bannerlord, and it'll be a good deal of fun to fight them anyways. As for the battles themselves, there's a decent bit of info regarding troops that's been discussed via the questions channel on the Crusader Blades Discord, the link to which will be in the description. Considering the mod ability of both CK3 and Bannerlord currently, your armies in CK3 will be as closely represented in Bannerlord as possible. Levies will consist of the level 2 infantrymen in Bannerlord, meaning that at first armies will look very similar to each other with little depth outside of potential cultural differences in armor or clothing. Then as you recruit regular men-at-arms, that's when the battles really start getting interesting and divergent. Your culture inside of Crusader Kings 3 will be assigned a culture within the Bannerlord game. The system isn't perfect and will need some serious tweaking to truly take all of the CK3 cultures into consideration, but again, this is super early in development, so the fact that this is even possible is enough for me to be okay with it all. Two more things regarding your troops and battles in the game. First, in the short video snippet, we can see that not all of the troops from CK3 are represented in Bannerlord. This is due to a ratio system George is implementing. This will eventually be set by the user in the mod settings, allowing for players of all PC types to fit their own specs. You can play at a 1-to-1 ratio for those powerhouse towers to an extent in Bannerlord, or you could choose much smaller ratios at something like 5-to-1 or even smaller to initiate those small battles without killing your computer. Second, it might be possible that your knights within CK3 will turn into companions within Bannerlord. I say might, as the developer is unsure if this system can be implemented and utilized correctly. But it would indeed be amazing if such a system could be put into place, especially if certain traits or stats could convert to take advantage of those insanely skilled prowess knights. You'll notice that there's a ton of ifs, mights, maybes, and hopefuls in this section. So again, I want to remind you that this is all a heavily work in progress mod, with alpha just being sent out to patrons who have hit a certain tier of support for the mod. Now that we have some idea of what to know about Crusader Blade, I want to briefly go into how I believe it works, since I have seen a very similar system in another game. Luckily for us, there's a simple graph provided by the developer to make things easier to comprehend. So you have a CK3 battle ready to rumble. You'll be able to launch the battle through a simple click of a button. On that click, the Crusader Blade mod will take stats from the CK3 battle, the number of troops, the type of troops, the terrain, possibly even weather modifiers down the road. It takes that info and converts it, as best as possible into Bannerlord jargon, boots up Bannerlord while shutting down CK3. The mod then spits out a battle scenario that closely represents the parameters set by CK3. This can be done at any stage of the battle, mind you, so you can hop in if things take a sudden turn for the worse, or hop in right from the start. Once the battle in Bannerlord is over, the Crusader Blade mod takes the information from the results of the battle, the number of troops killed, which troops died, etc., shuts down Bannerlord and reopens CK3 within those parameters and turns it back into CK3 jargon, giving you the results of the Bannerlord battle into the game. This design is exactly how Field of Glory Empires functions, with its export battle features with Field of Glory 2. Field of Glory Empires is a grand strategy game taking place during the Roman Republic era, and battles, much like CK3, are auto-resolve only within the game. However, if you owned Field of Glory 2, you could export those battles to the older title, sending parameter data to craft a custom battle in Fog 2, the results of which would then be sent back to Field of Glory Empires. Sound familiar? That system design worked great for the most part. It certainly had some loading issues, and sometimes the battles wouldn't be quite right or truly representative, but just the fact that you could play those battles at all was a very appealing aspect of Field of Glory Empires. Whether or not George knew of these two games and wanted to do this for CK3 and Bannerlord, I have no clue, but it's interesting that the exact same system is being utilized. It's a wonky system, no doubt, and the idea of shutting down a game just to open another one for battles makes it a bit intense for your PC and just frustrating in general, and I do wonder if the mod works as fast as the video suggests it does. Field of Glory Empires was also built with the battle export idea in mind, while this mod is taking two completely different games and mashing them together in a super bizarre but also really cool manner. So these are all things to just consider. Overall, I'm quite optimistic about the mod. That he even got the thing to run in the first place is incredible, and the response from the community has already been fantastic. The limited scope of battle conversion between the two games is completely understandable at this point in development, and I can't see any reason to realistically discourage the mod on that idea alone. I hope that George gets the support he needs to keep working at it, and I cannot wait to see what all he can accomplish, including adding more depth to armies with things like custom cultural armor, more relevant units for CK3 minute arms, and the many ideas and goals that he has in mind. That's all for this video on the Crusader Blade mod for CK3 and Bannerlord. If you want to support this mod, there are two primary ways. You can check out his Discord, or you can head over to his Patreon for financial support. Both will have links in the description of this video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this look into an upcoming CK3 mod. I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this one for when it's available for content creation. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and also give it a thumbs up, as that helps the old YouTube algorithm see the video and promote it across the web that is the internet. Subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with current videos. This is Havoc, and I will see you all in the next one.